Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. Hope all of you are doing well. This is a video session on daily news and editorial analysis dated 8th of January. Through this video session, I'll be discussing the important news and editorial both from the Hindu and Indian Express. The analysis of the news will specifically cater the aspirant of civil services examination, state public service commission examination, and various one-day examination conducted all over India. So through this session, we'll see the important article, the editorial, and help you understand its relevance from the examination perspective. Let's get started. And before I'll give you the highlights of the news, then we'll proceed with in-depth analysis of the news one by one. Before I begin the session, I would like to inform you about the Nishchay All India Test Series program. This is a trusted program if you are one who is appearing for the Civil Services Prelims Examination 2024. So through this program, through this All India Test Series program, we are providing 4,900 plus questions. Along with that, there will be video discussions that will be followed, demo test, along with the free magazine for content enrichment. This is something which will help you through your entire journey. And if you want to register, you can use this QR code for instant registration. Either you can visit our website for further details. So do check it out. Starting with the news highlights of the day. The first important news talks about the voice cloning. Basically, this is something which has come up where India has been witnessing the part of AI voice cloning and a lot of fraud taking place in the country. The second important news talks about the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee, something again relevant from General Studies Paper 2 perspective. A lot of important questions can be asked in the prelims examination. The third important news talks about the IAF C-130. We have made a tremendous progress where the aircraft has actually made a night landing, making it possible during the warfare as well. And the second last news talks about the Defence Minister leaving to UK for the defence engagement, something very important between India and United Kingdom. And I'll be concluding the session with editorial that talks about the structured negotiation to boost the disability rights, something very important which called for another way of approach, how the disability right can be promoted to a larger extent. Now starting with the in-depth analysis of the news one by one. So the first is about the AI voice clone fraud in India, something very important which has been prevalent, and this has been put in limelight, and we are coming across that a lot of cases has been reported in India. Now AI की अगर बात करें, AI में we have seen a lot of other part where the video में specifically we have seen deepfakes, right? Deepfakes, I think most of you must be aware of that. Now the other part of the fraud which is ongoing is the voice cloning. So in May last year, a report was disclosed and it found that 47% of Indian that were surveyed were the victim of some kind of AI generated voice scam, right? And this has doubled the global average. I mean, if you look at the part where it is close to 25% or 23%, in India, we're witnessing 47%. It's a pretty high number. Why? First and foremost, people are not actually aware. And second, the cloning is so advanced using the artificial intelligence that people even are not able to trace it or track it. Now, AI voice cloning scam की अगर बात करें इंडिया में, as I've told you, it was reported by artificial imposter that 47% of India that were surveyed, the Indian that were actually surveyed, was found to be somewhere they were suspected and even the victim of the AI voice generated scam. How it take place? Because it takes the voice of your very near and dear one, your parents, your siblings, and even it asks something which you feel you get trust on that yeah, he or she are there on the call. So this is how the entire part of tampering is done through the voice. The rate has doubled and the global average is around 25%. अगर वर्ल्ड वाइड बात करें तो 25% के आसपास केसेस हैं और इंडिया में जो केसेस रिपोर्ट किए गए हैं वो 47% है, ऑलमोस्ट डबल द व्हाट ग्लोबल विक्टिम्स. Now, according to McAfee, I mean, it's a leading part of the company which is making the antivirus and anti-piracy softwares. So it says that India are highly susceptible to the scam, where 66% have admitted, close to 66% of have admitted to responding to the urgent call, and even they claim to be their apparent friend, family members seeking money. See, if a voice is, if you know someone, and you feel that he's over the call, the other side is a known individual and asking for money, he's in trouble, definitely you will be able to do that help, right? So this is how the people have been scammed for a longer period of time. The emotional attachment with the relationship that we have make things more vulnerable and susceptible. The report highlight that the message claiming robbery was 70%, 70% रॉबरी के आसपास केसेस रिपोर्ट किए गए हैं. जो कार एक्सीडेंट की जो केसेस है वो उसमें 69% रिपोर्ट किए गए. देन वी हैव द lost belonging is 65%, and financial aid traveling to abroad. Suppose if any one of your friend is saying that I'm in abroad, I'm stuck, need urgent sum of fund, you can transfer me, you can help me out, and definitely you as your friend will definitely help him. So this kind of categorization has been done on the part of fraud. So during the travel abroad, 62% were fraud were reported, and this is how the message robbery, the AI voice cloning has been used to fraud India. I mean, basically the Indian citizen. The study have emphasized the vulnerability, especially the caller poses the parents. This is the total call that was reported. So उसमें 47% लोग ऐसे थे जो they were claiming of their parents, right? No, 46% precisely. Now, what happened when you get a call from your parents, you don't ask such questions, right? So immediately you tend to transfer, or you are in the positions to help them. Now, 34% were of spouses and 12% were of children. So this is how the level of fraud is taking place. The AI voice cloning has been tampered, and it has affected a lot many people, close to 47% of Indians. Now, global access on AI voice cloning की अगर बात करें किस तरह की cases रही हैं globally, as I've told you, 25% is the cases, or India में this is 47%. Now, there's some instances where famous celebrity, the Bollywood celebrities like Emma Watson were also being tampered. Their voice was also being used, recited a poem of Metcalfe, and other Pundit Ben Semperio, where the rest is about the Democratic politician Alexander Casticos. So this was some of the important personality that the voice were actually being cloned. Now, some notable incidents की अगर बात करें, family in Arizona has actually received a ransom threat of fake kidnapping of their child using the AI clone voice. And even US ने इस पर report किया है. They have revealed that the global market for these application is close to 1.2 billion. So it's a huge market, right? And it is estimated that it can reach up to 5 billion with a CAGR, that is compounded annual growth rate, of 15 to 40%. So you can see the people involved in it, the technology involved in it, the individual mind we are working. It's established organized crime that is taking place globally. India is not the only victim, but we have seen people across the globe has been victimized using the AI voice cloning. Now, there's some categorization which is there by the agency called as the voice bot. You can see the categorization, the deep fakes and the voice clone sentiment. So these are the details to give you extra idea how the things are working globally. Now, how are the voice clone actually being done? What are the software, how the scammer use it? What are the SOPs? What are the methodology they are actually using? So scammer easily exploit the online program like Merv, Resemble, Specify and other to replicate the individual voice and upload their voice clip with high accuracy. See, when anything is attached with the artificial intelligence, it tend to pose a higher level of excellence. So there people are actually being, they do not make a suspicion that this is something a fraud call is coming. There's such high level of accuracy is there. The major tech companies such as Meta, Apple has also joined the AI voice. Now, Meta has introduced a seamless M40. This is M40 is a part of their platform. There's a multi-language language model transition, and Apple is using iOS 17, which include the voice cloning features to assess individual and risk losing for their degenerative diseases. Now, ChatGPT has also come up with the voice transcription features that can be used for cloning, but to a larger extent these platforms are mostly for the welfare of an individual, for the welfare of the society at large, and they possess to make a neutral approach and even to ensure that no people are using their platform to make up fraudulent activities. But definitely we have to curb it. We have to ensure that we are taking a right positions, and even we are taking all preventive measures that is essentially required. Now, क्या क्या ऐसे preventive measures हैं that you as an individual can take, and not even you can even make other people aware that what are the prevention. First is a two-factor authentication. I think you must be aware of this. This is pretty common in the Gmail, right? You have a two-factor authentication. कई ऐसे ऐप और सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म है जहाँ पे टू फैक्टर ऑथेंटिफिकेशंस दी जाती है, फेसबुक, ट्विटर, इंस्टाग्राम, where you actually get the OTP and then you have a login ID. For banking, you have MPIN, right? The personal MPIN that you have been used, then you have an OTP. So that is how the two-factor authentication work. Then we have biometric security measures जहाँ पे एडवांस बायोमेट्रिक टेक्नोलॉजी से आपके वॉइस प्रिंट रिकॉग्निशन सिक्योर ऑथेंटिफिकेशन की मदद से यू कैन एबल टू सिक्योर इट. नाउ the other most important part which I personally feel is making people aware. People are not aware of the fact that there's such kind of fraud which is taking place. So first and foremost, we need to use some social media influencers, the public personality, to make people aware that these kind of fraud is taking place across the India, across the globe. Now, secure communication channels की जरूरत है. Like we can have an encrypted part of the communication channels, which is something very important over the voice and video call. So this is how this can actually help and make people more secure, and even these are the preventive measures that we can take. Now, November last, the US Federal Tech Commission or FTC has launched the voice cloning challenge, which has asked the public to send their ideas to delete, evaluate, and even monitor the clone devices. So this is how the global part, the security measures from the developed countries like United States are also making their best possible endeavor to encounter such fraud, right? So this is something very, very important. Even for General Studies Paper 3, अगर ethics की बात करें, precisely just to correct, General Studies Paper 4, अगर ethics की बात करें, वहाँ पे case studies में आपसे इस तरह के सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं that how you can prevent the part of the fraud which is taking place using the AI clone, voice cloning, right? So this is the part of the preventive measures. Now moving ahead, Supreme Court has called for the legal committee. This is something very important. The Supreme Court Legal Services Committee, which is proper known as SCLSC. Now, Justice B.R. Gavai, this is name is important for one-day examination specifically. They can ask you the direct name, that which is the individual with the justice who has been appointed. Justice B.R. Gavai has been nominated as a chair of the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee. Very, very important. It has lots of impact in our society. We'll see how the legal fraternity, the free legal aid is actually working in our country. Now about Supreme Court Legal Services Committee की अगर बात करें, 1987 में Legal Services Authority Act was enacted to give a statutory base to a legal aid program. It aims to provide free and competent legal services to eligible group, including women, children, the ST, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe individual, EWS categories, industrial worker, disabled person, and other people who are actually not who do not have the financial part to take care of that, right? So they are entitled to get free and legal aid from the competent authority, the authority like the National Legal Service Authority, State Legal Service Authority, और ऐसे कई authorities हैं जिनकी hierarchy level पे formations की गई है. Now the compositions of the National Legal Services Authority की अगर बात करें, if you look at the composition of the Supreme Court part, sections 3(8) में state की गई है that the National Legal Service Authority or NALSA SAT constitute a committee, and it constitute of a sitting judge who is a chairman, like B.Y. Gavai is a chairman, and even the other member posing the experience qualification as prescribed by the Union Government. Both the chairman and other members to be nominated by the Chief Justice of India, the Honorable Supreme Court. Further, the CJI can appoint the part of secretary to the committee, and as to date, the SLC consists of the chairperson and 9 members. तो chairperson के अलावे जो total है वो 9 member होते हैं. It's a 10-member committee, a 10-member body which is actually formed. Now there's a need for legal services in India. As I've told you, there's a paucity of amount, there's a paucity of finance which is there. The individual are not aware of their legal rights. So Constitution of India के Article 39A में, this is Article 39A, I think most of you must be aware, it emphasizes that the state role in ensuring the legal justice accessible to all citizens regardless of the economic and other disabilities. अगर किसी को economic disabilities है, the people are not afford the part of private advocates, so the state must provide an entitlement with a free legal aid, which is envisaged under Article 39A. Moreover, Article 14, which calls for right to equality, 21 is a right to inform on a ground of arrest, to make it obligatory for the states. ये स्टेट के लिए ऑब्लिगेटरी है ताकि वो इंश्योर करे कि इक्वालिटी बिफोर लॉ हो और सारी इंफॉर्मेशन जो है इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी की वो एक इंडिविजुअल को मुहैया कराई जा सके. The concept of legal aid was initially proposed in 1950 and it wasn't until 1980 उसके बाद national committee बनाई गई थी by the Justice P.N. Bhagwati which was formed to address this matter. Now these are the historical and the background part. यहाँ पे आपको constitutional provisions plus the part of historical background both is mentioned. It is pretty independent. I mean important for the mains examination and even for the prelims examination. Now, the state and district legal service authority की बात करें, we have the hierarchy which is actually working. So there are three tier functions which is actually working. So in every state there is the state legal service authority which was established to implement the national legal service authority policies जहाँ पे free legal services to connect people and log adalats are given. So this is at the state level, and at the state level it is headed by the Chief Justice of the specific state with the senior most judges and executive chairmen. Similarly, state level पे भी state legal services authorities होती हैं, तुगलक level पे भी होती हैं, and even the district court complex and every district have the DLSA that is chaired by the district judge in the respective district. Now looking into the part, किस तरह से पूरे hierarchy, as I told you, it's a 3-tier structure. So basically, if you calculate the Tughlaq part, it calculates to 4-tier structure. So how does it work? First, at the top, we have the National Legal Services Authority. Then at the second positions, we have the State Legal Services Authority. At the third level, we have District Legal Service Authority. And at the fourth level, we have Taluka's Legal Services Authority. So this is how the entire function of the Legal Service Authority and Committee in India goes on. And moving ahead with the other news, where Indian aircraft carrier is for the first time, that is C-130J Super Hercules, has made a night landing. Something very important for a country like India, that we have made such progress, and Indian Air Force definitely need to be praised for this. For the first time, the C-130J Super Hercules transporter aircraft of the Indian Air Force has carried out the night landing at the high altitude in Kargil, landing towards the line of actual control region. Something very important for a country like India. We have made a tremendous progress where even if it is required at the night time, and even the deportment of the further army personnel or any individual can be done through this part of C-130J Super Hercules. Now moving ahead, IAF operational capabilities की अगर बात करें, the night landing tactical lift aircraft with elite guard commandos were actually taken care in the Kargil strip region, which had demonstrated the operational capabilities or strategical crucial है. Even if you look at the part line of actual control eastern Ladakh region में बात करें जहाँ पे चाइना के साथ हमारे stand off है. Now this make things more possible that India, if any point of time is required, we can soon transfer our troops from one place to another even during the night conditions. The Kargil airstrip is located at an altitude of 10,500 feet, and C-130J Super Hercules aircraft manufactured by US aircraft Logan Martin has been the tactical aircraft utilized for Indian Air Force and special operation for humanitarian crisis. The night landing of 130J is significant for Indian Air Force in many ways. This I personally feel has made and given part of extra leverage to Indian Air Force. Now, enhancing infrastructure, government has been putting its best possible efforts and impetus to ignite the part of the infrastructure in the country. So the Defense Ministry has been focusing on enhancing the infrastructure for most airfield in the line of actual control, including the advanced landing ground. जो ALGs हैं उन पे भी खासा ध्यान दी जा रही है, especially boosting the infrastructure in the Daulat Beg or the advanced landing ground as well as in the Nupoma airstrip. Now, this is something which is located at 16,600 feet and is the highest airfield in the world. And the temperature at Daulat Beg or the Strop is minus 40 degrees Celsius during the harsh winter season. I mean, this is something the season where the temperature actually goes up to minus 40 degrees Celsius. Now moving ahead, India, UK to deepen the defense ties, something very important between both countries. They are augmenting their bilateral relationship and even deepening the defense ties. The Defense Minister of India, Mr. Rajnath Singh, is actually making a visit to United States, and this will call for building a more robust ties between India and United Kingdom, including the possible collaborations on the fighter jet and other military platforms. The focus area की बात करें अगर India and United Kingdom are expected to discuss wide range of issue. This issue with goal from I mean, goes from the defense, then we have security, then we have industrial cooperations and even the free trade agreement. Free trade agreement has always been on the agenda between India and UK, and this has been crossed to 36 billion bilateral partnership, right? The defense minister is accompanied by the highest level of delegations with the senior officers coming from the DRDO and even from the Department of Production. So this is how the part of the relationship will establish. Government is actually looking for more robust relationship with the United Kingdom when it comes to the defense establishment, and even looking forward with the part of strengthening the defense partnership. Now, India-UK defense partnership की अगर बात करें, we have seen that the Prime Minister has actually made a visit in April 2022, when then Prime Minister has agreed for an expanded India-UK defense partnership. Now, this is something which called for more strengthening of the relationship, because this was not only on the one front, this was having a varied approach where the part were actually taken care of in terms of FTA, the free trade agreement, and other defense engagement. Now, during the visit, the Prime Minister UK has also announced an open general export license for India to the retired bureaucracy and slashing delivery time for the defense procurement. The Prime Minister of Britain has actually called that UK will be having a co-development of military hardware, including the indigenous productions of the fighter jets, right? And India and UK relationship was elevated during the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, which is known as CSP, and during the India-UK virtual summit, which was held in May 2021. Now we are making a substantial progress. Britain, UK is an important partner for India. Now moving ahead with the editorial for the day that talks about the structural negotiation as a boost for the disability rights, something very important which called for equality to a larger extent, and how the structural negotiation can be a game changer. So what are the part of the discussion here? The issues involved in this article is the success rate of the negotiation, India's red tape, priority is the key, and the conclusion part. Now, the structural negotiation is a collaborative approach to the dispute resolutions, gaining popularity as an alternative to the litigations, right? So when it comes to structural negotiation, this is something which has to be taken care of. Negotiation की अगर बात करें, which has been a other way out. This is something which is considered to be the part of resolution mechanism, right? It entails the defaulting party or even any service provider to negotiate on the table, emphasizing the advanced compliances of the social welfare regulation. अगर एक corporate में अगर बात करें, we have certain known as tribunal. Tribunals are there, and even for the other part, there are other mechanism which is there. Arbitrary tribunals होती हैं जो कि इस तरह के जो प्रॉब्लम्स है, कॉर्पोरेट प्रॉब्लम्स, उनके रेजोल्यूशन देते हैं. बट यहाँ पे स्ट्रक्चरल नेगोशिएशन के थ्रू भी हम रेजोल्यूशंस पे आ सकते हैं. Now, MN Fingward has been notable contribution as successful, particularly in resolving the disability rights, specifically in the United States. Now, what is the success rate of the negotiation? If you look at the part, structure negotiation की success rate की बात करें, this has something successfully addressed the inaccessible ATMs, point of sale, pedestrian signals, and even for the websites. The negotiation was made on this particular area where the success was actually made. It persuaded that the Walmart, CVS, and the Caremark has created an accessible prescriptions bottles for this individual. It also drove the institutional reform for more accessible voting machines and website, something which is actually catering the specific category of individuals. And structural negotiation will create a win-win situation for helping services, litigations cost, negatively publicity, and enabling the compliance access to marketplace barrier-free. Now, the legal precedents play a crucial role in paving the way for business, ensuring accessibility without resorting to the litigations benefiting from the parties involved. Now, India की अगर red tapes की बात करें, when the part of bottlenecks, which is especially there when it comes to the part of red tape, I'm actually talking about the bottlenecks which is there for India. So the growing backlog part of bureaucracy, paperwork, India civil courts have been discouraged to use the dispute resolution. If we are looking forward with an alternate mechanism, definitely we can come down to lot many other cases. The Right to Personal Disability Act 2016 allowed for the non-compliances and chief commissioners of the personal disabilities, और जो ये chief commissioners होंगे, they can issue notice, impose penalties and ensure accessibility is effectiveness in addressing the marketplace at certain part. But the implementation, the ground reality is pretty different. Now, the commissioners can recently instruct the PTM to make its mobile app accessible for the person with disability as well. So they need to be ensured. A classic example is the identification of node. Identifications की अगर आप रुपीज नोट किसी भी तरह के नोट की बात करें, कई ऐसे ऐप्स हैं जिसको आप स्कैन करके उस रुपी के वैल्यू भी पता कर सकते हैं. सो दिस इज सम ऑफ द फ्रेंडली पार्ट वेयर दिस पेटीएम कैन एक्चुअली कम अप. Now, priority is the key. The success for the alternate dispute resolution is something that need to be taken care of without recognitions for the benefit. हम इस तरह के disabilities पे अगर ध्यान नहीं देंगे तो we cannot come up with an amicable settlement out of the court, and this would be challenging. So we need to prioritize the part of dispute resolution. This is a part of a resolution system which will actually work, right? Apart from this, in context of India, businessmen must embrace the trusted negotiation to tap in the significant purchasing power of the people with disabilities. And it is crucial for business to prioritize the need for disabled users engaging in structural negotiation power to move the directions, right? So if these things are actually prioritized, we can substantially make a progress. And this is something where we'll make a progress in the part of disability rights as well. And moving ahead with the conclusion part, structural negotiation can be a solution, specifically allowing the services and service providers to come up to avoid the non-compliances issues and legal fees. See, when it comes to the part of structural negotiation, out of the court negotiation, definitely help to come up with a conclusive resolution which actual party is looking for. It empowers the person with disability to directly address the concern, and even service provider oversees the implementation and fix it. So it depends on give an individual liberty to come up with a conclusion of their desired orientations. Right? So this is how the conclusion can be concluded. I mean the way forward can be written. Moving ahead with the answers and discussion for the Saturday question. The first question, the correct option is B. I've asked about graphene. So the option 1 is correct and option 2 is correct. Do check out what you have marked as a correct option, and these are the detail which you can read. The second question, the correct option is A. Here only the option 1 is correct. This is regarding NHPC. There can be contemporary question asking with the detail for such. So do read the explanation in detail. Now moving ahead with today's MCQ questions for the day. The first question is about the X-ray. Consider the following statement. X-ray consists of constantly moving electric and magnetic waves. X-ray exhibit the structures and pattern of motions. The polarized X-ray are arranged in an oscillation on the part of coordination directions. To participate in the question, you simply write question number 1 followed by the correct option, and that you can drop your answer in the comment section down below. The second question for the day is about the psychoanalysis. Those individual or those aspirant who have already read psychology in class 12 or having psychology as an option find it more easy to answer. Sigmund Freud was pioneer as a psychoanalysis during the 19th and 20th century. Psychoanalysis investigate the unconscious mind, examining the influence of thoughts, behavior, emotions and personality. This will help you in general studies paper 4 precisely, जहाँ पे इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस को आप एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे भी यूज कर पाएंगे. So do write your answer for this particular question followed by your correct option, and you can drop your answer in the comment section down below. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQs. If you have any other concern about test series, programs, and even any other part of the initiative that we are having, we will be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for stay connected.